The Secrets of Technology is brought to you by the StarQuest Production Network and is made possible by our many generous patrons. If you'd like to support the podcast, please visit givestarquest.com. Hi, I'm Dom Bettinelli, and you're listening to The Secrets of Technology, where we discuss the technology news that's important to you from a uniquely Catholic point of view. And joining me today on the panel is Thomas Sanjurjo. Hey, Thomas.
Hey, Dom.
So it is, as we record this, and in the Northern Hemisphere, as we have to specify, it is summertime, and summertime is outdoorsy stuff. And both of us being suburban dads, we are intensely interested in the state of our lawns. I'm assuming.
Always. Oh, no. Yeah. It's especially with the new house. It's all, my wife looks across the street. She's like, what is he doing with his lawn that we're not? And I'm like, I don't know, but it's grass, man. I'm doing the best I can.
And there's always that one guy in the neighborhood who's out there with like little clippers on the edge, manual, like scissors, like cutting his grass.
That is the guy literally across the street from us too. And it's just like, I'm not big on keeping up with the Joneses, but this is one area where it has to happen.
So, for some reason, the lawn just feels like a more than anything else, a reflection on you as a dad. I don't know why that is, but it just my lawn is mostly dead right now. We have a kind of a sloping yard, and we haven't had a lot of rain, and it's all the sun is on it. So the front yard looks terrible, but the backyard is actually pretty good. As the kids have grown, they are trampling it to death less. so it is beginning to recover from those years.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes, right. When we first moved here, it looked amazing, and So,
right.
So if folks can't guess, what we're going to talk about is tech for your yard. So beyond the lawn, we'll talk a little bit about some gardening and some other tech involved in that as well. And in case you've not been keeping up with this stuff, it has gone high tech. It has. I mean, you can still get out there with an old fashioned circular push mower, the rotating one, which, there's something to be said for the exercise. I got one for my son a few years ago to get him out there. But you can go high tech in all the places. And it's funny because it's one of the last analog domains that's now being digitized, computerized. Even now, like I still have a gas mower. Most of the tools are still manual, but we're shifting into assisted to automated. And then being data driven, and maybe that might be a little far. We'll see. But the main areas where tech is really taking hold, it's like lawn care, gardens, both flower and vegetable, trees and shrubs. They kind of have their own category, and then watering and irrigation. And depending on where you live, what your climate is, these can all have different aspects. And if you where I live, it's tundra for half the year, so there's not a whole lot that's involved. But where you live, it's you get a lot more verdant seasons,
right
around.
Yeah, it's year round. I mean, we have like maybe two good freezes, so there's not much to worry about in that angle. We actually had one this last year that killed almost everybody's lawn plants, and that's extremely rare. Wow.
Yeah. That's. I mean, we go through that every year. Yeah, we have to replant every year. The flowers and all that sort of stuff. I mean, there are perennials that come back up, but that's when your lawn gets buried under 2-3 feet of snow, that's not a lot you can do.
There's not much that comes back. So like for us, it just froze the plants and they died. And then the recommendation was just chop them all back to almost nothing and see what regrows. And we got lucky. Like we had, I think maybe like 6 plants die, and that just did not come back. And so we just, went out and got some new ones there. But absolutely. That always something growing around here. And a lot of times it's many things that you don't want growing.
Yes. Oh, tell me about the creeping Charlie in my yard. That is my constant nemesis, taking over from the grass. We actually did a major yard cleanup this spring where we're cutting back bushes and we planted trees and, we often have sunflowers. So we try to do something, but it's a constant battle. And so what we're going to talk about is some of the stuff that's available technologically to help us, get control of our yards. And there are philosophical and ethical debates about vast expanses of grass versus more natural yards. And honestly, I kind of like the idea of a more natural yard, like even a garden, like a vegetable garden front yard. That's what they urban farmscaping, I think they call it. I may have made that up. But in any case, I like the term though. But so there are different approaches, and we could talk about that if we have time. But let's get into the tech itself, right? And we'll start with lawns. Even the more traditional lawn equipment, like a gas mower and now we have electric mowers. And electric mowers have been around for years, but even they're getting more high tech. They're getting better. They're more efficient. Like my lawnmower is really nice about, it's power assisted. So you hold onto the handle and it goes and those things that can be really nice.
The one I have, it's an electric, and I do the same thing. And it's actually so good that I have to remind myself to let go about 3 feet in front of where I want to turn, because otherwise it's just going to keep going
into the neighbor's yard.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
So the downside of gas mowers obviously is the upside is the power. They've got gas engines, internal combustion engines. They can't be beat. Still for sheer torque and power. They are
not that far advanced. I'm gonna say that I would put mine up against, and mine's not even the most powerful one that's out there, but I would put it up against a good gas mower most days. And we've got the really good thick Bermuda grass, so it's like the really good grass. And I had to let it go for a couple of weeks because we were just trying to let it stay. And I got this guy out there, and it did not die on me more than twice. And that was spots where I was really like shoving it through thick grass to try and get it moving.
Okay.
And I just no problems at all. And it ran like all the entire lawn. It ran on one battery, even with all of that extra effort.
So it is a battery, not corded.
Yep. Yeah. This one's battery operated.
That's the thing that's always held me back from going electric was the cord. I just dragging a cord, like that just reminds me too much of vacuuming. You know what I mean? Like it's dragging a cord all over the lawn just seems like a nuisance. It's getting caught on things, and then you got to make sure you don't run over it and all that stuff. Yeah. But when I was looking at the last time I bought a new lawnmower, I looked at the battery ones versus the gas ones, and the battery ones were just so much more expensive, and it just wasn't in my budget at the time. But I really wanted one of the battery ones.
I will say, over the life of the lawnmower, if you think about, just charging up instead of having to get gas, I know that's one that everybody tries to always sell. And then, but the charging your car is just as expensive as getting the gas, which is probably true for the car. But for these guys, it's really not. Like they do not take much to charge. And then they run, if you get a high enough amp battery out of it, they run really well.
And the lithium ion battery systems have improved a lot in recent years. I mean, even if you've looked at them, 5 years ago, they're much better now, even in the power that they can give, because that's the key factor in that oomph, that of the cutting power, but also the amount of time that they'll run has really improved. And they've improved just even, having 2 batteries on board, or, so you could swap out without, having to, be down while it recharges and all that sort of stuff. A lot of that has improved. The downside right now is I can buy gasoline at any gas station, but every mode, just like my drill, just like my, my power tools, everyone has a unique battery, and you have to, you're locked into an ecosystem.
And that's the interesting thing that I've found about this is, because I was really worried about that too. And then I looked at a lot of the different options. So they have all of your power tool sets also have,
Adapters?
coincidental versions of the lawn equipment. So like Ryobi makes lawn equipment and Milwaukee makes lawn equipment.
Right.
But what I'm finding is that the batteries are different enough that I don't need, I use the batteries for the lawn equipment and the batteries for my drills and things for my drills. They don't mix with each other. So I ended up actually going with a different ecosystem for my lawn equipment, but I have a blower, a mower, an edger, and a weed whacker that all use the same battery and they're all interchangeable.
Oh, so all the lawn equipment uses the same batteries. That's kind of cool. See, I have lawn equipment that uses the same batteries as my drill. You know, I have like Ryobi things. And I mean, I think the key is as long as you can use it in more than one.
Right. You're not stuck to just having that device. Yeah.
Yeah. That device with its own special charger. That's really annoying.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and it's not the end of the world. Look, hey, I got an iPhone. It's a walled garden. I'm living in it. It's fine. You can exist in it. I mean, this is almost literally a walled garden situation when we're talking about it. Now that I think about it. So yeah,
at least a corded garden.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's not the end of the world. So the big difference really now is price. You know, the mowers, the electric mowers are really right up there with they compete on an even playing field with the gas mowers, but they're more expensive for basically the same amount of power.
Right.
So that's really where we're at with it. Honestly, I would keeping a gas engine running like in a mower, like in an outdoor equipment, is such a pain. You know, I'm at the point now where I have to like blow starter fluid into the carburetor every time it starts because it's just so gummed up, and I really should take it and get it serviced and cleaned out. But you know,
yeah,
it's just another thing to do.
Right. And that's something like with mine, I just get it. When I get done with it, I just turn it over and I blow it out or wash it out every once in a while. Yeah. And I really don't we broke one of the battery sides. So I need to fix that. But it's a little clip that I just need to get in there and actually like reposition into the thing to fix it back up. There's nothing wrong there. Now, if something bigger did go wrong with it, I would need a more specialized fix than probably just taking it down to Jack at the end of the street that knows what he's doing with it. Right. But a lot of the companies also offer warranties on that kind of thing, so that you can get it fixed, or they will offer, they'll send a tech out to operate on it, or they will take it and operate on it and then send it back to you.
That's good.
So just depending on how you want to do it. And it's mostly just because they can keep customers that way, and then have people that will recommend their stuff to everybody else too.
Well, and it's still such a new area that they really need to serve people well to get them to try it.
Yeah.
So gas mowers have a lot of consumables, the air filters, oil. I'm assuming you don't have any of that on an electric mower.
None.
Yeah. Just the battery.
Just the battery.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. I'm not in the market for a mower yet. Hopefully for a few years. I killed my last one. My son hit a big rock and basically busted the motor. And that's why I ended up buying a new one. But when the next time I'm in the market, it might be the thing, or a robot mower. But before we get to that, there are the big thing now are, and I think this is both grass and electric. I mean, gas and electric, not grass. They are all grass mowers. Gas and electric. The self-propelled smart load sensing mowers. And these ones, this is a new thing where, like in the old days, a mower it was a blade that's, spun at decapitating speeds, just like, and whatever. But now they're smart enough that they continuously monitor the load that's going in the motor. So as we were saying before, you got a thick, wet grass, that you get hitting and suddenly the torque demand is up. And so boom, it adjusts the power output in real time to give you that oomph to get through and not stall out the motor. And that's really nice. So like when you're just cruising through the light grass, it keeps it a nice low power, saves energy, saves, electricity or gas. And then when you hit the thick, wet grass, it cranks up and power through it. And it's really cool technology.
it's all based on just the feedback that it's getting from itself. So it's not doing any analysis or anything other than just, oh, I'm struggling. And you do this as a lawnmower yourself. Like, right. So when you are the person mowing the lawn, you kind of listen to it work a little bit harder, and you back off and move back a little bit. Yeah. And in this case, what's happening is the mower's just taking that feedback that it's getting itself and just making a decision to ramp up what it can or ramp down where it needs to.
Right.
And some of it's really neat, and it's the underlying technology that's working it is something we've had forever. We've just never really been able to make the smarts small enough to fit and cheap enough, really,
and durable enough.
It comes out to. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. To fit in a device like this. Yep. And so it's just gotten to that point where, chips are small enough, they last long enough, they don't need quite so much care, and you can just shovel it into one of these things. And if it needs to be replaced, it's cheap enough to just go somewhere and get a replacement, and you're going to be fine swapping it out. So I love these things. I think this is a great idea. And I was reading about some that are out there. And if you are a person who has a large enough lawn, I think this is definitely a viable thing, because you're probably not going to get to the whole thing every single time you mow. So you're always going to have something that's, that one deep spot that you always get caught in.
Or like us, unless you, like in the spring, unless you mow every 3 days, where I am, it's like you should never cut more than a third of an inch off of each blade. Are you kidding me? I'm cutting like 4 or 5 inches off at a time. Right. It grows a third of an inch in an hour. I have to be out there constantly. So and this load sensing is mostly found on the battery powered ones. Mm-hmm. Because it extends the battery life. It's not running at full power all the time. When it doesn't need it, it doesn't draw it, and that extends the battery life. Yeah.
And so and I would say with the battery ones, you for the most part, you get what you pay for. So if you're going to pay for a really, really cheap battery mower, you're probably not going to get a great product. So you do want to go with something that's a little more middle to high end, and then definitely look at the specs. Like look at what the amperage is, what the watt or what the voltage is for the batteries that you're using. But then if you want features like this, look for it, and it'll help. Especially if you have a big yard and you're trying to get out in one battery load, so you don't have to go and swap out. You want something that has the advantage of this kind of thing to save that extra bit of power.
Right. Another kind of newer tool out there, there are these zero turn mowers that have digital controls. Like that's where, like, if you have like a back 40, like you have to have like big property to really justify a zero turn mower. These are $multi-$1,000s. I mean, they look cool. You look like a landscape driving around the property. Man, I would. That just sounds like fun, actually. But
it's like a tank too. That's what makes it zero turn, because all the wheels turn independently, and you just
it's awesome. You can spin in a circle. But they have like digital controls for keeping making sure you're staying in the line, running over flowers and stuff. It's really kind of neat. Then even technology to improve like mulching. So when I was a kid, when you mowed, you had to then rake because it just left giant clumps of cut grass that would kill the grass that was left behind. But now they've improved the mowers enough so that they mulch as they go. Or the other thing was you'd have to bag, you'd have to, and you'd be constantly dumping the clippings. But now they've redesigned the way the decks work, the way the blades work all together, so that they recirculate the clippings as you go. They keep throwing it up as it's going and cutting and cutting and recutting so that they will decompose quickly and basically disappear, and then feed the grass that's left behind, which is great. So, and then if you do want to bag, they've also improved the bagging technology to create better suction and better bags so that are breathable, but dust filtering. Oh, if you've ever run through a dirt patch in your lawn, I mean, I have dirt patches in my lawn, and then it blows out this dust cloud through the bag. Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah. And then if you're going that direction too, getting a good composter is never a bad option. And there's a lot of really great kind of moving into our garden tech, but there's a lot of really great options out there for composters right now that are pretty easy to put together, and they do a great job.
Yes.
And if you're afraid of composting, this is one thing I always have to say this to people. If you're afraid of composting, don't be. It does not smell. If you're doing it right, it's going to smell like good dirt, not like the stuff that you're putting in there.
It's not going to smell like trash. That's the thing. Yeah. And if you're doing it right, it doesn't smell like trash, or it doesn't, there'll be bugs, but that's good.
Right. That's what you want.
Bugs are good for your garden. The right kind of bugs.
Yeah.
So there is another mowing technology I want to cover before we move on to gardening and that sort of stuff. And that is the future, which is the one that lets you sit on the deck with your drink, watching the machine do the work. And that's robot mowers. And robot mowers are they're about 10 years behind where robot vacuums are, right? Robot vacuums have become pretty sophisticated now. Robot mowers are starting to get there, and they're at the beginnings. And there's basically two kinds of robot mower. There's the ones that rely on a boundary wire, which is like you bury a wire that goes around your property, and that's what keeps it on your property as opposed to in the streets. And then there's basically like GPS or dead reckoning systems, where it navigates either by a GPS signal or from a known starting point, and it navigates based on that. And they can be really nice. They can be controlled by an app. They can have obstacle detection. You can schedule them to run at particular times. When your neighbor's asleep on a Saturday morning, maybe it's not the best time, so you schedule for a different time.
Or it is the best time, depending on how you feel about your neighbor, right?
Exactly.
I think these are great. And I think one thing to keep in mind too is the reason that they're far further behind than the vacuums is it's a blade that's spinning, and so there was a lot of required sensor technology that had to catch up to the point where we were comfortable saying, yeah, it's okay for that thing to be driving around on its own with a spinning blade. And it's gotten there. It's gotten like the sensors that they're able to put on it and keep it in place are good. The companies that are making them know enough about what they're doing. So you're talking about like, it's like Husqvarna, who's, all been lawn care for a long time, but it's also like Segway, who's got these kind of, already self-driving and self-riding things that they know a little bit about, and then being able to put that into this technology. So none of them want to be on the wrong side of a lawsuit here. So you're not, if any of those sensors go bad, there's no way that mower is going out without reporting it to you and making sure that you fix it first.
You don't want your robot lawnmower going rogue and hunting down the little kids in the neighborhood.
They're also all really low to the ground, so they have a lot of like you would be putting yourself through a lot of effort to try and get into a dangerous situation with them.
In fact, they're probably safer than a regular mower.
I would say so, because there's no. I think with a regular mower, you've got that human error of trying to overcorrect for something that's gone wrong, and then things go bad. And
because it's the lever effect, you're holding that bar, and you're going to push down on it, and it's going to pop up.
Yep.
And now you have deadly
open blades. Yeah,
open blade. Yeah. So the robot mowers are they're probably actually safer if you think about it.
Yeah.
They right now they tend to be better for small to medium yards, and that's mainly due to the battery life that they have. But the advantage is it doesn't take any of your time. So it goes out, does its work, needs to recharge, comes back, then goes out again once it's recharged, all without you having to do anything. So there's an advantage to that. There can be some complexity in getting it set up. You have to map out your yard and no-go zones, and you think about some yards are very simple. They're a little square, but most yards have very particular aspects to them. At my yard, I know where all the rocks are. I know where the edges are that I have to be careful around. There's a lot of things like that where you don't think about with your yard, and that's something you have to get the robot smart about when it starts doing your yard. So that's another complexity.
If you have a fence, there's always going to be an issue with getting in and out of the gate part of the fence. So you won't be able to leave it 100% alone because you'll have to go open the gate for it, and then there's all sorts of issues there too. So it's but so if you have the right kind of very simple yard and you just want something that's really easy to take care of, this is a neat technology. I feel like it's come a long way, and I've seen a couple of these operate, and they're a lot of fun to watch. It's like a Roomba on steroids, really.
It really is. Roomba with a blade. Yep. Son, go let the mower out. It's trying to get out of the gate. So robot mowers are the near future. And honestly, the one that I think about is the robot snow blowers, which sound even more dangerous because that blade is out in front. But the idea of having something that could throw the snow for me and I don't have to go out in the snow, that is very attractive. I like that idea, but they're also $5,000 still. So those are toys for the wealthy.
Yeah. The price will come down eventually. Eventually.
That's how it always works. Yeah. So we'll have some links in the show notes to some examples of the various the electric mower with the load sensing, a gas mower that has that mulching deck, and then one of the Husqvarna robot mower. But these are just examples of the many brands that are out there. Yeah.
Just to hype the one that I use, because I really do. I love this company. I think they're doing a great job. It's called Greenworks. If you're a Costco member, you'll have seen them at Costco.
Yeah, Costco.
And that's the reason we got them, because we're like, okay, well, Costco's selling them, they gotta be at least moderately decent. Yeah. And I've loved them. I have really like I think the worst experience I've had with them was just that one of the battery one of the flicks that holds the battery in place broke, and I just haven't gotten back out to fix it. But the great thing is that I can run my whole lawn on one battery, so I don't. There's no big rush to fix it because it just works.
Yeah, that's great. I'm going to look at that next time I'm at Costco. Yeah. Just don't tell Melanie.
Well, and if you start small, just get the weed whacker.
There you go.
You've already bought into the system, so you might as well go ahead and get the leaf blower and
it should be like you have there. 2 electric weed whackers in the shed. I know. I need a third. There's 3 boys. Anyway, let's move on to talk about watering and irrigation, which is seems a natural segue from lawn mowing. So there's automated sprinklers have been around forever, decades and decades. Right? That's been a fairly analog automated system, but we've really moved into smart irrigation these days, which do things like weather-based watering. There's nothing that irritates more than seeing the sprinklers come on and it's pouring rain out. Right. Well, you're doing a lot of good out there. Thomas, where you're at, do you have irrigation and watering?
We do, yeah. And ours, I love our neighborhood is all recycled water, so I don't feel bad about using the water most of the time. Right now, we're in a really bad drought, so it's kind of flipping that on its head. But for the most part, I don't feel bad about using it. And then we have a smart system that, unfortunately, and this is something else we're going to talk a little bit more about in general. Unfortunately, because of licensing issues, my smart home system cannot communicate with my smart watering system. So I had to get a separate app for it. But it's great. Like, the app's really user friendly. It tells me whether or not I've gotten enough water. There's a little rain gauge that is on the back of the house that dries out. So even if it rains in the week, it dries out fast enough to know that my lawn has dried out as well, and will need a water on any given day. But it'll hold it for a couple of days too. So if it rains on Monday and I'm watering on Wednesday, it'll still say, okay, there's still enough water in the lawn for us not to need to go this time around. And then I can review all of that on the app too. So if I feel like, oh no, I do want it because it's going to get hot the next couple of days, I can override that and say, okay, go ahead and water anyway. Right.
So that's nice. I like the idea of using some smarts, because lawns are a organic growing thing, and
Right.
it's they don't work according to a schedule. Ask any farmer about growing things and schedules. So being able to instead work according to just how the situation is right now saves so many things. It's very eco smart, and I think it's responsible to do it that way. And then you can do things like also have like drip irrigation, whether it's for your flower beds or your vegetable gardens. And those also will work on like you can set out sensors in the soil to sense the water, how the moisture content in the soil, and then it can adjust so that you're not overwatering. That's a big problem. I overwater. I'm the terrible overwaterer. My wife's like, "Why are you watering them again? Like they look dry." It's like, you're gonna kill them.
Thirsty.
I'd be thirsty, aren't you? So, in any case, there are smart drip irrigation systems now. So those are really good. And if you were to want to invest in one smart technology right now, probably smart irrigation is going to give you a bigger bang for your buck than a robot mower at this point.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I would 100% agree with that.
Yeah. And then they have like, leak detection systems. So if there's a leak in your watering system, it will tell you, which is nice. You don't waste all that water and that sort of thing. So that's really nice.
And they can, depending on the system, ours is not this cool. I wish it was, because it would save me time. But depending on the system, they can sometimes even tell you which particular head is leaking. So like which actual sprinkler head is leaking. Mine will tell me the zone. Mine will actually say that this zone is using more water this time around than any other given zone. So they're kind of zoned off into groups. So I can at least narrow it down to like 8 sprinkler heads and figure out from there.
Which one of you is not working? So that kind of leads me into the next section I want to talk about, which is more gardening tech. And we'll start with the soil sensors. And so I talked about, moisture sensors. Well, you can sense a lot more than moisture. You can pH, nutrients, Moen, which you may know from plumbing fixtures. They have a smart wireless soil sensor that is app controlled. You shove it in the ground in a particular area, and then it sends the data to your phone. And there are a bunch of others. We'll have a couple examples. Netro is like available at Lowe's, and it's $70, which is, pretty cheap. And, you can move it around. It doesn't have to stay in, you don't have to have a whole bunch. You can monitor different areas, like, what's going on in this bed, and then adjust it and then move it to another bed. So, it doesn't have to be like sensors everywhere. But
if you want to build your own, you can get, there's like Raspberry Pi sensors that you can use, and a Raspberry Pi is dirt cheap. If you want to go even cheaper, you can get like a little Arduino board and then just have those communicate back to a central hub on a wireless signal. And you can do this yourself, like if you really want to, and you can get it down to like $30 for one of these things. Right.
If your electronics handy a bit, you could you could certainly build it on your own. Although Raspberry Pis aren't as cheap as they used to be, unfortunately.
No, that's true. That is true.
but you can also just buy one, and the apps are nice because they give you the recommendations. Like, this is what I'm seeing. This is the data I'm getting. This is what you're trying to grow here. So this is what you should do. And use this product and fertilizer or whatever you need to be doing, and that's really nice. And which just isn't to say that you couldn't do that with a home built sensor either. You just do your own Googling for what to do based on those. So that works. I bet you could tie them into like a system like Home Assistant. I've been getting into Home Assistant lately, so there's a future topic, by the way. We'll be talking about that.
All right, that sounds good.
Yeah, just as a preview, Home Assistant paired with like Claude or ChatGPT to do things. Very nice.
Automation all the way through.
Yes.
Oh, and then you got the Star Trek going on.
That's, exactly, the smart house. My poor wife. And then there's the growing systems, like to grow stuff, and you're doing something interesting with growing fruits and vegetables and stuff.
So we got the kids into some gardening stuff this year, and we got some vertical planters. So it's just planters that kind of stack on each other, and you water them and they water down. And so it's just regular planters that are vertical. So it gives them a little bit of space to do things. But then we also went ahead and took the jump and got a hydroponics system, and it's about 5.5 feet tall and has I think, let me see, I'm counting. I think it's 18 or 20 slots in it to grow things from. And it's just a big tub of water with a pump and a bar that goes up through the whole thing. And it just pumps the water up. The water trickles down, goes into the plant bulbs that are in the little slots, and then trickles back down into the main basin. And all you have to do is you have to have an app that runs the pump a certain number of times a day. And then you just keep track of the pH level in the water. And we're growing pumpkins right now. And I'm actually a little concerned about the space that we're going to have for this because this thing is flowering like mad. It is just absolutely insane. We've grown chard and lettuce and spinach, and it's enough to actually have had an impact on our grocery budget. So we've been able to cut back on some of the groceries that we've been buying. And I had the bulb is, maybe 3 square inches of dirt that these things are growing out of, and they grow like mad. It is really, really impressive.
Wow. They say, gardens, you spend $20 to get $2 worth of produce, but It sounds like not in your case.
No. I mean, we haven't, I would say we haven't made back the amount of money we spent on the system itself yet.
Yeah.
But we're only in our first year. This is only our third harvest coming off of this thing.
Wow.
So yeah, just for the sake of the kids being able to look outside and go, we grew that.
Yeah. See, I think there's a value in growing things, even if even if you're not saving a lot of money doing it. But when we have had a garden, and when you take the kids outside and you have them pick a tomato off a plant and eat it right there, or a strawberry, or something that they've only gotten from a grocery store,
right?
Something changes in you. Something changes in. It was the same way for me as a kid. I had my Sicilian grandfather, right? He was a fisherman, but he also he was an amazing gardener, especially when he retired. He lived in the city. He had a plot of land that was about 20 feet by 30 feet. It was not a lot he could feed a village from the food that he grew. It was the most verdant piece of property I've ever seen. He had awesome. Zucchinis the size of your arm. I mean, it was amazing. And there's something about just going into the garden and picking some food and having it and feeding, with it. There's a value in that goes beyond the money you spend on the groceries. I agree with that. I mean, it helps don't get me wrong. Having a fresh tomato right out of the garden you can't beat it. I mean,
you can't beat it.
There's nothing like that.
Or your own peppers. Oh man, that's fresh peppers right off the plant. Wow.
Yeah.
And I've been really impressed with the lettuce that we've been able to get out of it. The lettuce we've been able to get off of it has been just really, really tasty. And, and it to me, it feels I think there's something in there of the mentality of it. It's my lettuce. I grew it. Of course, it's better than the lettuce I get from the store. But I really do feel like there's something to that where this thing grew. It came right off the plant in my house. I washed it under my sink and ate it. Right. I know everything that went into it, and it tastes great because I didn't have to flash freeze it or package it up with a bunch of other junk.
Right. As soon as you pick a fruit or vegetable, a clock is ticking and the quality is declining. And there's all kinds of technology, and that's a whole nother topic, but all kinds of technology to keep food good from the farm to the store to the table. And it is a miracle of modern technology. Don't get me wrong, but there's something when you fresh pick something and eat it within hours of that, in that first time frame, it is what it is supposed to be. That is the platonic ideal of that fruit or vegetable. And that's kind of the point is, you get to enjoy something intangible. And that's it's kind of what we're talking about here is this technology is about helping us appreciate the place we live. And, and doing it in a responsible way. And that's the other thing, is the technology is helping us to be more responsible with our resources. Right. Even if, there's a bit of an investment, but there's a responsibility toward our environment, and, less if you don't have to use as many pesticides or,
right.
Or artificial fertilizers or that sort of thing that can leach into other areas. There's a certain responsibility involved in that too. So I encourage people to even remember a few years ago was really big, the Aero gardens, which are these countertop gardens. We actually had one for a little while. Kid broke it, but even that, it's a little expensive. You got to buy the particular pods and whatnot. But there's a lesson in that for what, you've grown something and now you're eating it. And wow, a kid who would never touch a green vegetable, when you said you've grown this, then they might actually.
It changes their perception a lot. It really does. Yeah. I think my youngest two, they both did a lot of gardening this last year, and they were much more open to trying things that would normally have been a hard pass on their plate.
Yep. So there's something to be said for it.
Yeah. So, and I will say one more thing about the hydroponics too, because I think a lot of people can kind of worry about it. Every time every about 3 months, we take everything out and replace it. And that's the only time that you change the water. And the water is about, I would say probably about 5 gallons, maybe a little bit more. So the water use is about 5 gallons every 3 months, which is not
way less than a traditional garden.
A lot less than a traditional garden. And it just recycles. And so all you have to do is every once in a while go out and check the pH balance, which it's daunting at first, but once you've done it a couple of times, you get really used to it and can really quickly kind of balance it back out to what it needs to be. And so it's not even as complicated as like keeping a pool or anything like that. You just put a couple of drops of this or a couple of drops of that in, and you're good to go. So I highly recommend it to anybody that's interested in getting into gardening. It's been the best gardening experience that we've had too, because we've tried gardening, like traditional gardening before, and we all have the black thumbs around here. And we've only managed to kill a couple of these things in the hydroponics so far.
That's good. Yeah. We plant in great hope, and we get meager returns, but we hope every year. It's again. So a couple other things in tech for your garden is things like pest and disease management. There are wonderful apps for gardeners. And you can do things, and you don't even need specialized apps necessarily. You can use, a ChatGPT or Claude, take a photo, say, this is this kind of plant. What's going on here? What's on it? And what do I do about it? My wife bought a tree, and, we planted in the yard, I think magnolia or something. And it wasn't doing well. And I'm like, hey, Claude, what kind of watering should I be doing for it? And it's like, it came up with this whole watering plan. It's like, you need to water for as long as it takes to fill a 5-gallon bucket. Like, so what you do is get a 5-gallon bucket and see how long it takes to fill it. That's how long you should be watering it. And you do it every so often, unless it rains. And it kind of gave me a whole plan for this tree. And I'm like, see, that is helpful, because I'd taken a picture like, what's going on with this? Oh, it's not getting enough water. I'm like, oh, okay. We planted it in our dead front yard. That was a great idea. Anyway, so that sort of thing, plant identification, like what is this? Is this the plant I planted, or is this a weed?
Right.
They'll help you with that. And then there are things like smart traps, which can monitor for bugs, like insects, like what kinds of insects, and the bug goes in, it takes a picture, it's telling you, hey, you've got this kind of bug in there. That's a little advanced, but it's out there. I mean, there's more of this stuff out there, so it's really kind of neat to see. And if you live in an environment where you get winter, a greenhouse is affordable in the range for a lot of people. And you can do things like have automated greenhouses for humidity and heat to regulate it. So there's some technology with that as well.
Yeah. And as far as identification and stuff goes too, I don't know of one for Apple, but I'm sure there's something equivalent to this. There's an app called Guard Droid that I use, and it's like gardening droid, so Guard Droid, and it is really good because it asks where you are, so what zone you're in, and then it will tell you what times to plant things and what times to harvest them. So it gives you a when to start doing this and when your harvest should come in for any of these given things. And that's been super helpful for my one daughter that is very good at gardening. She runs through that and gets a lot of really good information about what to plant when, and then what she can expect from a harvest from it.
Yeah. On, I think this might be cross-platform, but I know it's on my phone, the iPhone. There's a app called Seed to Spoon, which is a whole gardening community. So it's got all kinds of resources, including forums. Like you can talk to other people, and there's a lot of stuff. It looks at what your zone is. If you don't know, you know that there are certain climatological zones where that you're like, that you live in. This is when you should be planting and that sort of stuff. And this is a pretty good. I found it to be a pretty decent app. There's like you get to unlock premium level things. There's some free stuff, and so there's a fee. So I don't know if it's the best one, but this is one that I've had that has been pretty good in that area. So talking about some of the obstacles to the technology, there are a lot of, as we've mentioned, a lot of different apps and ecosystems, and sometimes they're silos. They don't talk to each other. They don't work. It's just this piece of technology and its app, and then you have to have a million apps, and that's a pain in the neck.
Yep.
However, there are a lot of people out there who are working hard to find ways to get around that and create hooks into these things for Apple Home, Google Home, Home Assistant, and more of them are putting in things like the Matter standard, which makes them cross-platform right out of the box too. So that's useful. And again, something I've done a lot is I've gone to Claude and said, hey, I get the smart home thing that doesn't seem to talk to the Apple Home. How do I get it working through HomeKit? And it will walk me through it. And it's like, oh, hey, this is done. And here are the things you do. And I mean, I would never have gotten stuff in it that I have. And so you could do that with a lot of the yard technology out there as well. Like maybe your irrigation system, there might be a Home Assistant integration that would work.
I'll have to see if I can get that. I'm going to go check that out now.
Exactly.
I'm going to go run some things by Claude this evening.
I was getting my fans that I bought at Costco that they just didn't seem to be in any ecosystem, but they're like you can control them from an app, and these house fans, and I'm like I gotta figure out. And yep, there's a way, and I got them into now they're in my home app, and they're one place. I can control everything from one place.
There you go.
And more importantly, my wife can control them from one place.
And there you go. That's the real trick right there.
The spouse seal of approval. So the other one of the other obstacles is cost. Right? We mentioned that a little bit. A regular gas mower is about $200. A robot mower is $3,000. And then the battery mowers are in between. They're closer to gas mowers than they are to the robot mowers, thankfully. But so the battery tools and irrigation automation are going to give you your best bang for the buck in general.
And I will say for the electric mowers, you really, this is one of those spots where you really can roll in the entire cost of the gas for the life of the mower into the cost. So you're paying up front, but you're getting that freebie constantly from there. And, you don't have to store the gas. You don't have to get all the air filters and all the other stuff. It's just the batteries, just charging them up. Yeah. And you don't need a special charger for most of them. Most of them just work in like in a regular, like your regular drill, electric drill batteries. So you just plug them in the same kind of way. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, from a Catholic point of view, once you've freed up your time in the yard, you can spend it with your family and rest or recreate. So that's a nice way to think of it. So before we move on, I'd like to take a moment to thank our patrons who make it possible for us to create the secrets of technology, including Brett, Robert S., Joseph R., Kelly W., and Curtis C. Their generous donations at GiveStarQuest.com make it possible for us to continue the secrets of technology and all the shows at StarQuest. And you can join them by visiting GiveStarQuest.com. So this time for our picks of the week. Thomas, what's your pick this week?
So my pick this week is a CPR app. So I just recently got recertified for CPR. Alicia and I both like to keep that up as, for all of our volunteer positions with kids and everything. And the lady we had this time was great. And she was really interested. She gave us the recommendation of using this app. Unfortunately, it doesn't do us any good in our area. So this might not be any good for you. But if you are in an area and you happen to know CPR or be interested in having the knowledge of where all of the AED devices are near you, this app is called Pulse Point. Pulse as in heartbeat, pulse, and point. And it does two things. If you have your emergency preparedness centers in your area are registered with the app, it will actually broadcast to you any CPR necessary event that's happening nearby. So if you are a person who is licensed to do, or who has a certification to do CPR, it will tell you an event is happening near you that you could assist at. So if somebody's calling in and then you can go, and if somebody's already performing CPR, you can tag in with them and help out to keep the person
in an
alive.
emergency situation.
In an emergency situation, yeah. And so it does that, and then it also will tell you where all of the defibrillators are in the area nearby you. So if you needed to get a defibrillator because you're in an area where there's not one visibly available to you, it would tell you what the closest one is and then how to get to it.
Wow. The advent of the AEDs, these automatic defibrillators, is amazing. It's one of the best technologies of the past couple decades.
They're incredible, and it's like even if you do not know how to do CPR, I would say for everybody who doesn't know this, the two things that you can do immediately are make sure that someone is calling 911.
Yes,
and that someone is finding a defibrillator in the case where someone just collapses and you don't know what's gone wrong with them. Right. The defibrillator will have inside of it instructions on how to perform CPR and how to use the defibrillator. And it is literally no brain for the defibrillator at all.
It's designed for people who are panicking.
Exactly.
And so it works to help them. Yeah. No, that's awesome. And it's a free app, of course. And it's a great idea. I like this.
And I've already reached out to our local fire department and emergency departments to say, hey, I would really like you guys to get involved with this and, to have the information on it. Because I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't ever want to have to use this skill, but having this skill, I would like the opportunity to be able to help if necessary.
Exactly. I mean, just like any first responder, like they don't want to have to respond, but they know it's going to happen. So they want to be there and ready to do it. And so, that's excellent. All right. So my pick this week, let me pull that back up, is an app I use every single day and has become an essential part of my life. And it's not just because I'm a podcaster. This could be useful for many things. And so let me tell you, it's an app called Mac Whisper. Now, it is a Mac app, but there are lots of apps out there that use the new transcription models, machine learning models. I don't like to say AI because people just think of chatbots. These are machine learning or neural network models that are really good at taking spoken language and turning it into text that is correct. So Mac Whisper is great because it does a bunch of things. One thing it can do is it can take audio and it can identify the speakers. So it can separate that there are different speakers. And in some cases, you can train it what the voices sound like. I haven't been able to do that with our podcast because too many of us sound alike. We're all suburban dads. But it's easy enough to just label them like speaker 1 is Dom, speaker 2 is Thomas, speaker 3 is Jimmy, so it's easy enough to do. And now you have this transcript of whatever. And I do this not just for podcasts. I often record Zooms that I'm on or meetings that I'm in. And then I take the transcript and I drop it into a chatbot and say, hey, here's my meeting notes. Find all the action items that I need to do.
Right.
Then put them on my calendar and in my to-do list, and it only is your imagination, it's limited by your imagination of the ways you could use something like this. And the great thing is there are some new models. There's an NVIDIA model. I forget what they call it now, but when I first got this, like, it would take an hour-long recording and it would be able to transcribe it in about 5 minutes. Now with this new one, it's called Parakeet is the newer model. I can take an hour-long recording and transcribe it in 15 seconds.
Wow.
It is
that's amazing.
Incredible. It is awesome. So, and I'm just scratching the surface with this.
Yeah.
You can dictate into it. You can capture audio out of apps. You can, you can record directly from Teams, from Zoom. There's all kinds of ways that you can use this. Even if you're not a podcaster who needs to record, make transcripts of your shows. So there is a free level that you can get, and then there are pro licenses, and it's 70 something bucks. It's pricey a little bit, although I feel like that's fair that's what software has always costed.
Yeah, that's right around there. Yeah.
And if you're getting some serious utility out of it, to me, this thing is well worth the cost of $70 for it. Like I said, I use this every day, and not just for my podcasts. So there are other apps out there if you're on Windows or perhaps on Linux as well. But this area of voice recognition and transcription has really exploded in the last few years. It's really, really good. So, and I've got a few more apps like this in future picks coming up because this has become a real boom area in the use of technology. We're really close to that Star Trek talk to the computer, it talks back. It is, It is not long before we're going to be doing that. So.
Yeah, it's getting there, and they're getting better at recognizing voices too. Because our home assistant has started asking the kids their names. Like, I'm not sure I know you yet. It's like,
which bedroom are you in?
Fortunately, we only have the one speaker, and it's downstairs. Centralized area. That's where it stays. So
yes, with the kill switch. Yep, be
able to unplug it.
All right. So those are our picks this week, and that's it for our show. We'd love to get your feedback on anything we've talked about, and you can do that by sending an email to technology@sqpn.com or visit our Discord community at sqpn.com/discord. You'll find links from our discussion and our picks of the week on our show notes at starquest.fm/TEC353. And of course, you can find previous episodes at sqpn.com/technology. And be sure to follow The Secrets of Tech. If you're not already subscribed, do so at Apple Podcasts or Spotify or TuneIn, your favorite podcast app, or our YouTube channel, youtube.com/StarQuestMedia, where you should always, of course, hit the bell, subscribe, like, and do all those things. Be sure to write a review wherever you get podcasts from. That really helps us a lot. And to share the podcast with somebody. Someone who's struggling with their yard and could use some good yard tech, let them know. Mm-hmm. So until next time, Thomas Sanjurjo, thank you for joining me and sharing the secrets of technology.
It's been a pleasure.
And once again, I'm Dom Bettinelli. Thank you for listening to The Secrets of Technology on StarQuest. Here's another show on the StarQuest Network you're sure to enjoy, The Secrets of Star Wars. Find it wherever fine podcasts are found or at sqpn.com/Star Wars.